Hey, how's it going, guys? So this time we're going to move on to the design side of the mobile app. So now that we have an idea and everything, we're going to go into a bit more detail where we start to look into the design side of things. And now the design is a step that people tend to miss it, but it's an ultimately crucial step because you can't just jump straight into development. There's a whole lot of things that you might miss. So design is a really crucial step. So yes, so we're going to go into the design side, and on the design side, there's a lot of benefits on the design. So things of you get to actually build the app and then give it to someone and then see what their thoughts are like. So you're taking your idea of your app and now you're actually putting it into what it'll look like. So when you design it, you're actually building to exactly what it'll be like. And this is a quick, short process. You can do it within a day or two. Get the design up and running, and then you can give it to your audience and then see what their feedback is. Tell them, I'm going to be building an app exactly like this here. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Do you have any changes, any comments? Do you not like the idea? And at the design side, it's still very easy to make changes. So you can get feedback, make changes that you need, and then you can customize it to exactly what your audience wants. So the design side is really crucial. And then on top of it, it really helps on your development side because now you're giving a design to development and saying, I want exactly this here. And now even on the development side, it clears up a whole lot of confusion because they know exactly what they are developing and they're just going to replicate it to get it exactly like what you have designed it to be like. So also by doing that there, when you give it to developers and you plan everything, it also has a higher chance of less buggy system because now you know what it's going to be like, you know your system. On the developer side, when they develop it, they know exactly how everything is going to be built, and that just results to a less buggier, better user experience app. So the design is a crucial part to the app and it should always be taken on before jumping straight into development. You should never have an idea and jump straight into development. Because as changes come along, once you've developed the app, it's much harder to go back and make these changes, especially on your database and backend side. If you've built your backend already and you've already got your database up and sorted, it's not so easy to go ahead and make changes. You'll need to do migrations and a whole lot of other changes and checks. So it's always good to start in the design. Make sure you've got the design nice and correct, exactly what you want. Give it to your audience, see what feedback they come. Once you have nailed it and they have validated your idea to say this is a perfect app, we like it, then you're going to jump into the development side. So on our design, one thing I have to mention is the MVP. I mentioned it in my intro, but MVP is one of the most critical factors as a minimal viable product. We all fall victim to this here. When it comes to mobile application development, first impression is last impression. If your app crashes on the first use from my client, they will lose faith in you. They're not going to try it again. They probably might uninstall it. So you have to make sure it's perfect. And the way to do that is to start off with the most minimum viable product to achieve your user's goal. And you do that in small chunks. You slowly increase it and grow it with smaller add-in additional features. The initial goal in which I need my customers to or my users to be able to achieve is at least go and find a place to go fishing. That is the core basis of my entire app. Is a place to go and find fishing because at these venues, that is where you will be able to attend fishing competitions. That's where you'll be able to hire equipment. That's where you'll be able to climb a leaderboard and catch fish. So my core function of the feature is to at least go and find places to fish. That's it. So I'm not going to have any other features. I'm just going to be focusing on that one basic core feature. Trying to nail the perfect app. Taking 2 years on planning to build and add all these features and going through everything. That is actually the incorrect way to build because firstly, a big app from the get-go with all these features is probably going to be buggy. You can't pick up all the bugs straight from the development and testing. You have to give it out there and that's when you'll see actually all the bugs and all the issues rise. So you got to start off with MVP, something that can take you quick, about a month or two just to build. And then from there onwards, you will then add in another feature, which will be, let's just say it's hiding equipment. And then we focus on adding only that feature. We perfect that feature. Once a feature is perfect, then we bring it into production and we send it out to the users. Once that is completed and everything is still working 100%, then we look into fishing competitions and we add fishing competitions. But you want to start off at your starting point, which is your MVP, which is your most basic, minimal viable product of the app that achieves your user's goal. And from there onwards, you will then grow and grow and grow. And this actually makes it easier for you. So it should be a positive, because now you don't have to focus on achieving everything in this massive app. You just got to focus on that small little goal and nail that there. And that will also help you with your adoption process. You rather spend a month or two, get MVP out and push that out and start getting your growth and adoption already working while you're working on other features. And then start to get a feedback and build according to your target audience. Don't just think you know everything and in 2 years you're going to get this perfect product work, you're going to give it to them, you're going to be rich. It will be a rude awakening knowing that you never nail the target and it's too complicated and there's bugs and the list goes on and on. So make life easy for you. Start off with the most basic version and slowly build and grow onto that there with features that you know for a fact that your customers are going to like. So yes, let's get into this video. In this video, we are going to be going through and focusing on the design side on my MVP, which is the simplest goal of designing a mobile application for fishermen to find fishing locations near them. And in this video, what we will be going through is we will be starting off with mock-ups of designs drawn on a pen and paper just to get some idea of where we want to go and what we want to look at. And then once we're done looking at our designs and our mock-ups that are drawn on pen and paper, we will then be switching on to Pinterest to get some inspiration, to look at other past designs, because it's much easier to replicate or get ideas from a different designer as opposed to starting off from scratch. And Pinterest is like the best place because you can just jump in there, type in mobile UI designs and beautiful apps will show up. And then once you got some ideas on inspiration, we'll then also pay attention to our colors, because you cannot have 10 colors. You have to focus on 3, which is your dark color, your light color, and your primary color. You could push a 4th one, but I would say stick to 3 and make it look sleek and professional as possible. And then once we got our mockups and got some inspiration, ideas and designs and also our colors, we'll then jump into Adobe XD and we'll start designing the high fidelity version of the design. And I'll show you how it works and how easy of a platform it is, and how quick, within a day or two, you can just get your design up. And then it's not only will you get your design up, you will complete your design. You can then make it an interactive design. So if you click on this button, it'll take you to that image. You click on this button or that image, it'll take you to the next page. So we'll make it into an interactive design, which we will then also be able to create a link of Adobe XD. And from that link, we can share it with any of our customers or target audience. They'll be able to view that link on their phone, and once they open up that link, it'll actually be as if they're opening up the app. It'll just be a design with dummy data, dummy images. They won't be able to input fields, but it'll be images of the app on your phone, which will look and feel as if they have the app on their phone. They can then play around with the app design. They can press buttons, navigate through there, and actually get a feel and experience of how it will be like to have your app. And then they can then give you feedback to let you know, is it worth downloading this app? Would they download it or would they not waste their time? Just to make sure that what you are doing or what you are designing and developing will be worth it and people will use it. So that's pretty much going to be what we are going to be doing in this video. It's a 3-step phase, and once we're done with that, you should be able to go and design your own app and hand it out to your own customers to get feedback. So yep, let's get into it. We'll start off with our mockups and yep, let's jump into it. Okay, cool. So to start off with, we are going to grab a pen and paper and we are going to start drawing out our screens. When we're drawing out our screens, what we want to complete is the user journey, the process and steps that the user will be taking in order to complete their goal. And we would like to make this process or these steps as simple and as easy as possible for the client to reach their goal. So regarding this app, which is a fishing app, our goal within this app is for the user to be able to find places to go fishing. So that's the main goal, the main target for clients to be able to go out and find places to go fishing. So let's start off with our first screen. You want to stick with what the customers know and have experience in past apps such as Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc. So we will start off with the login screen where we'll have our logo. We'll have 2 input fields, which will be our cell phone number, our password. Then you'll have 3 buttons, which will be your login, your register, and your forgot password button. So then once you click the register button, you will be then taken to your register page. So that will be our second screen. And in our screen, we'll then have a few input fields in order to register the client as a new customer. So when you do create your register page, don't overcomplicate it. Don't ask for too much information. You want to keep it as simple and as basic as possible. First name, last name, gender, cell phone number, password, confirm password. These are the fields that I would require from the user in order to create his account. Once the user completes all these fields, he can go ahead and click register to create his account. Then if the user had to click forgot password, you must remember that you always have to have a forgot password button, because if the user forgets their password and there's no forgot password method, that means he'll never be able to access his account again. So always remember to have a forgot password page. If the user had to forget his password, he will then go ahead and enter his cell phone number. Once he enters his cell phone number, there will be a button for him to request an OTP. Once he clicks request OTP, it'll then SMS him a 5-digit PIN code, where he'll then be able to enter the OTP over here, and then he can go ahead and put his new password and confirm his new password. So you always want to make sure that there's a new password as well as a confirmed password, to make sure that they didn't misspell something by accident. And then once they've completed all the fields, they could go ahead and click update password. And then once the user has either created an account and then logged in, he will then be taken to the GPS location settings page. In order for my page to work, I'll need to know a point of location. You can either use your GPS, or if you're not comfortable using your GPS or your location, or you want to have access to anywhere in the world, you can also insert your address. So you'll have two options. You'll either be able to select GPS, or you use your GPS location where your current location is at, or you have the ability to enter an address. And once you're happy, you can then go ahead and click continue. And then the moment we have the address or a location, we can then go ahead to the next page. So the moment they've created an account, they've logged in, we have the address or we have a location, we will then be taken to the home page. It will be your venue list, because this is the main thing that people would like to see, or users would like to see. On this page, you'll then be able to click on user settings in case you'd like to change your GPS or location settings, or update your username, or update any of your profile details. As you can see over here, we don't have profile photo, we don't have any additional information, as we must always remember we are building the MVP, the most minimum viable product. You're trying to do the least amount that the client has to do in order to achieve his goal. There'll also be able to be a search button on top, so they can search for a specific location. If they want to search for a location, they don't want to scroll through everything to find one, they can just go ahead and click search. And then on this main page, you'll then have images of your venues, and there'll be 5 images which will be scrollable. So similar to like Instagram, you'll have your 5 pointers here, and you can scroll the page to view the other images. You'll then have the name of the venue, and then you'll have distance from venue. So how far are you from the venue? And all these venues will be sorted based on the distance from where you are, from closest to you to furthest from you. So this is a simple home page app you're gonna have. It's just a page you open, get images of the places that are close to you to where you go fishing, and then you can scroll to view other images. You get the name of the place and how far it is from you. And then if you want to view more information, you can then click on the image to open the image, and that will then give you further information. Once you click on the image, it'll then open up your venue page. On your venue page, you'll have the venue name, you'll have the images, which will also be scrollable, so they can scroll to view the other images. There'll be a description of the place, so letting people know more details about the place, what's it like, just a short description of the place to provide users with more information on the place. And then below that, they'll have the contact details. So we'll have the phone number and the email address. So if you like this venue and you want to go there and there's some information you don't know about it, or you'd like to make a booking, find out about payment, you can simply go ahead and call them or email them. Because from the beginning, we're not going to have all the information of opening times, entries, cost to enter, how safe is it. We are just starting off with the most minimal viable product with the most basic points of information that the clients need. And then below that, we're going to have a button, open in maps and navigation. So this is basically a short, small button where if they like this venue, they can click this button, and that'll then open up either Google Maps or their maps on their iOS device and navigate them to the venue. So it's a simple process of, if I look for a place, you like this place, you click on it, you look at the images, you scroll through, you see if you like this place, you read the description, and if you're happy, you can either call them or email them for any information. And when you're ready to go there, you click this button and it'll open your maps, either Google Maps or iOS, and navigate you directly to the place. And yes, that's already the short user journey, as simple as possible in order for a fisherman to go ahead and find places to go and fish. And then just the final pages that we also need to design, which will be our profile page. So if you had to click the user settings, so if you had to click these user settings over here, you'll be taken to this page. And over here, which is your profile, you'll be able to update your first name, update your last name, And if you make any changes, you can click the update profile button and that will apply or save your changes. If you want to change your GPS or location settings, or if you want to log out of the app. And then the last page will be your search location. If you have to click search location, it'll then pop up with an input field where you can type in your venue name. You can click the search button and it'll then display all the venues that are found that match your search field. And you just click on one of these venue names and it'll open up the venue page. And yeah, so please take note of how simple this app is, because we are trying to get the most minimal viable product. I keep on repeating MVP, but it's such an important aspect because you do not want to overcomplicate it. You want to make it as simple as possible, because this is only your starting point. From here, you're going to build on and build on and build on features which are going to eventually make your app. But this is just the starting point. And as we can see from this design, that we are trying to avoid any bugs. So they are very simple, small fields, less prone to bugs. Okay, cool. So now that we have our mockups completed and we have an idea of what our app wants to look like, we can now go ahead and look for some inspiration on Pinterest and find our colors and talk more about our colors and select our colors. So this is our first step we've completed, and we are ready to move on to the next step. Okay, cool. So now that we have our screens drawn, the next step is to let's get some inspiration on our designs, because it's much easier to replicate nice designs than to start off from scratch and just design. And the website I like to use is Pinterest. So if we go to Pinterest, we'll then have the screen, and then we can go ahead and search for mobile UI designs. And yes, once we have searched, we'll then see that a whole lot of nice designs will show up where we can get some inspiration from. So yes, so if we look at some of these designs, we can then see, okay, here's some good images. And yes, and you will then just be presented with a whole lot of good ideas on designs that you can use for your mobile app design. This is a great place to find some inspiration and ideas on your designs. So what I like to do then is I will go through and I normally find a whole lot of designs that I like, and what I will then do is I will save them, ones that feel and fit the vibe that I'm trying to give to my users. So if we go through over here, we can then go ahead and let's just say we like this design over here. That's a good one. So what I'll then do is I will save these here to my board. So I'll have a board, let's just say mobile app design, and I'll save all these pins, all these images to that board. And then once they're all saved and I have a good idea, I'll then go to that board of mine. And then whenever I'm busy on my design, I will then always come back to these images over here and make sure that my app is always designed with a nice professional look. So if we go to these images, we can then see these are the look and feels that I was going for. So I like these over here. These are nice images. Okay, cool. So now that we have searched for images and added them to a board and got a whole lot of inspiration, one thing we need to pay attention to is colors. So whenever you design an app, you want to basically have three colors, which is your one dark color, a light color, and one of your primary colors, which is normally used as an action button, is your color scheming of your apps. So if we look at what type of vibe you're looking for, so with my app, you can either have a dark app or a light app. So if we look at this example over here, this is a light app where the background is normally white and your text is dark, and then you have a green action button kind of color as your primary color. And then your second option is more of a dark app where the backgrounds are normally dark and your text is white, and then you have your primary color. So on my app, I will look for green mobile apps or green designs or green and blue, because when I think of fishing, I think my mind leads towards a more green and blue color, because when I think of water, I think of blue, or I think of the trees around when I'm fishing, which are green. So kind of a green and blue design. So I was going to go with a more dark approach to a design. So let's just start with this image over here. So this is kind of the look and feel that I'm going to be going for, with a dark background and a light or a white text color. A nice way to get your images is, say I want to use this yellow over this green over here, this greenish bluish. I then download a color picker, so we can see over here, and on this color picker I can then go ahead and say click color, and I can actually go and find the green I'm looking for, and then that will then give me the hexadecimal value of the color that I'm looking for. Over here is my green one. I can go ahead and just save this green for now. And then the next color I'm also going to be looking for, because you never want to use pitch black, which is #000000. You always want to use a slightly grayer or a slightly lighter one. So I want to use this dark color over here at the background, so I can go ahead and I can pick from that color over here, which will be, let's just say there. And cool, so then this one here will be my dark gray color. So I'll just save this here as well for later. And then I'm going to be using white, which is your #FFF. Okay, perfect. So now this is the look and feel that I'm going to be going for with these apps. So I have all these designs with the look and feel. And then my primary color will be my green. This here will be my dark gray backgrounds. And then this will be white text for my font. Okay, cool. So now that we have our inspiration, what our look and feel, or bit of examples to look back onto, and my colors, it's time to jump into the design. Cool, so now that we have got our screens drawn up, we have got some inspiration of some app ideas that we want to look at, and we have selected our colors. Now it's time to jump into our high fidelity design. So we can go ahead and we can open up Adobe XD, which is a tool that can be used to design and develop your designs of a mobile application. And for me, is the perfect platform for designing your mobile applications. So the layout of Adobe XD is very simple. You basically have your three tabs, which is your design tab, where you will be doing all of your designs. Then you have your prototype tab, which way you can then go ahead and add your navigation from, if you click this button, to navigate you to which direct page, or if you click one image to direct you to a different page. So this will allow you to control the navigation of your app. And then share is where you will then be able to go ahead and click share and generate a link, which way you can take that link and send it to people to get feedback on your design. On the left hand side, we have our main components. So with Adobe XD, the thing I like about it most is that you have very few elements, and you only use those elements to design your entire app. So the only elements that we are going to be using to design our entire app will be a square, a circle, a triangle, a line, and then text. And those are only the elements, the main elements that you need to design any app you're looking for, or any of the apps that we have seen from the inspiration that we got on Pinterest. Over here, this button is to create a new artboard. So if you want to create new artboards that you're going to be designing your app on. And then on the right hand side, you have all your properties of whichever components you're busy working with. So now that we gave you a little bit of introduction to the pages, let's go ahead and jump in and start designing. So the first thing that we want to start off with is to create an artboard. So we can go ahead and click this button to create an artboard. You will then be given options of different devices that you can look, or you can create your screen based on. So you can get options for iPhones, for iPads, for website, for desktops, or for even Instagram posts or Facebook posts, etc. So we're going to go ahead and let's use an iPhone 8. The moment you click it, we will then get a screen. Okay, now that we have our screen for our iPhone, we can go ahead and start with our design. The first thing I'm going to start off with is inputting our colors. So if you remember those hexadecimal colors that we copied, we can go ahead and select our page, click fill, and we can go ahead and add our pages, add our colors. So our first color would be, let's just say we go ahead and we add white, and then you will click this button to add that color. We can then go ahead and add in our green hex color, or whatever your primary action is. Once you've got that color, you can click plus, you'll be added with your second box. And then for your dark, not going to use black, but that dark gray that we found, we can go ahead, copy and paste that hexadecimal value inside here and click plus, and that will then bring your third box. So now we have our third boxes, which is our white one. For me, it will be our white one, our green, and our gray. So these are the only colors we're going to be using to design our whole app. Okay, perfect. So we will start off with a gray screen. So now if we look at our design, so I've got my design, I've got my drawings over here, and I'm going to be doing them based off my drawings. Okay, so first I'm going to be doing my login page. So we're going to start off with adding our logo on the top. You can add any image we want for now, but I will go ahead and start adding our images. So the first thing we're going to do is add our logo. So I went ahead and I've got my logo, which is already designed in that green color. I can click anywhere on the screen and copy it and click paste. Okay, then I can go ahead and put my logo, let's just say over there. Now we want to have two input fields. So let's just start with that over there. We can go ahead, and one thing that's nice to use is grid lines. So you just click on the right and you can drag them, and this will be kind of guides into making sure all your designs are symmetrical. So I will go with 25, I'll give a buffer space of 25 pixels on this side, and I'll put 25 pixels on that side. Okay, so next I'm going to need a cell phone number and a password for my login credentials. So I can go ahead and click the line button, or you can press the L on your keyboard. We can go ahead and we can draw our first line, and you hold shift to make sure it's a straight line. So we can draw it from this end to that end, and we're going to make the border just stick out a little bit. So we're going to choose our gray, which is dark, and then we can kind of bring it up a little bit just to make it pop and stick out a little bit. Okay, perfect. So that's our first line, and then we can actually go ahead and we can, next I would like to add is my image. So I normally like to have images over here for logins. So I have cell phone and password, so I'm going to use icons instead of text for these over here. Okay, so one thing that I would like to recommend is using SVG images, because you have control of actually changing the colors in Adobe XD of the images itself. So for my login, I'm going to be using a cell phone, and for my password, I'm going to be using a lock screen. So here, if you go to svgrepo.com, you can then go ahead and find different types of SVG icons which you can use in your designs. So I want to use a cell phone for the cell phone number, so I can click cell phone and click enter. Yes, so this is what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for this design over here, so I like this one over here. I can download that design over there, and then from there I also want a lock, so I can go ahead and click lock, and I'm looking for something like this, so I can download that there. Perfect. Now that I've got my cell phone and my lock, I can copy those images and go and paste them into Adobe XD. Okay, so now in Adobe XD I can go anywhere. Once I've copied them, I can click on the gray screen and paste them, and these two icons will appear over here. Now the nice thing about Adobe XD with the SVGs is you can change the color. So I can go ahead and click on my image, I can click full, and I can select my green color. And let's just see. So yes, this goes nice. And then I can resize it and place them where I would like them to be. And then I can go ahead and do the same for the lock and change the color of that and place that there for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and critique this. So I think this should go a little bit smaller. We'll place that, go down, move that. And I like to create a separator line, so I can click the line tool or press L, and I can go ahead and draw a line like that. Perfect. Okay, cool. So now that I've got those two, what I want to do next is click the text tool so I can add some text. I can go over here and put in my text, and let's just say I'm going to put in my cell number, and that text is too big, so I can select it. Oh, and then make sure you do select your white color for the text, and I can go ahead and change the font over here, so you can use all these different types of fonts. One that I like to use is Everna, because I find it really easy and readable, so I'm going to stick with that, but that's a bit too bold, so I will go ahead and make it a light, nice and thin. And that looks pretty nice. Let's just see on the, you can increase or decrease your font size over here. That is a bit too big, so let's actually go down to 20. And okay, so and I can realign it there. So cool, so that's perfect. So that we go, there we go. We got our first input, we got our first text input field for cell phone number. So now what we want to do is repeat the same for passwords. So what I can go ahead and do is select all these fields, I can copy them, and I can push Ctrl V to paste them. So I have my second field, and I can go down there, and then I can go ahead and now modify that field. So I can change, delete that, and I can go ahead and put my lock in. What I normally do is place it on top just to make sure that they're kind of similar. Perfect. I go down here, and then I can go ahead and change this to password. Perfect. So now we've got our cell phone number and our password. Next we need to do is have our login, register, and forgot password button. So I can go ahead to my rectangular tool, select that, and I can go over here and I can draw the button. And let's just say about that size. What's nice is to always have a border radius or a curve on your buttons. So if you move this here, you can see that they do go ahead and change based on your curvage. So let's just leave it about there. Then I can go ahead and fill and change that to my primary color. And then from there I can go and add text. So I can go ahead and put a text over here, and we'll put in the word login. And the white doesn't look so readable, so let's rather use the dark gray for that way. And then also that's a bit too light because also with your call to action button, so let's rather use medium. Okay, perfect. Let's just go ahead and click tool. Let's go realign it. So if you want to center line anything, so say it's over there, you click your text, you click the button, and over here you can say center line to the middle and that to the middle. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and increase this here, maybe to 2 sizes, and I think make it a heavy. And then just realign that. Perfect. Okay, cool. Then we can select those two and we can click Control Group, and that will then group your two images, your text box as well as your rectangle. And then we can place it over there. And then we can put Control C, Control V to make a copy of that. Control V, Control V, Control C, Control V to create another copy. And let's just realign those so that they're all the same. And over here we will then have our register. And over the bottom one we'll have our forgot password. And then just remember to recenter everything again. Perfect, so there we go, our login screen is completed. Okay, next what we want to do is a bit more of a harder screen, will be our home page. So we can go ahead and actually select that screen, and we can see Control C, Control V, and we can go ahead and actually delete everything on that page. Perfect, so now our home screen. Okay, so for our home screen, I said I want to have a setting button on the top left and a search button on the right. So I will go to my website and I will look for a settings. Okay, perfect with this one. I'll download that, and then also I want to get a search. And which one is good? This one's good, so I'll download that one. Perfect. Now that I've got my two images, I can copy those and go back into my Adobe XD. Okay, perfect. Once I'm back in Adobe XD, I can click anywhere on the gray screen and click Control V, get my colors, get my icons. I can then change the colors to the required colors. So I'll select and change those colors. And then I can go ahead and place them. I want them about that over there. And let's just say over there. And then just to make sure that they are center aligned, click both of them and make sure they are aligned. Perfect. Now I need to have my heading on the top. So what I like to normally do is have my title of my app and then a bit of description of the page. So I will go top and let's just say I'll make it Real Legends. Okay, so currently my text, so I'll click here, Real Legends. Then I say it all. Let me actually make them all bold, all uppercase, and then change my font to white. Perfect. Now I can go ahead and drag that somewhere over here. That should actually be better if it will be heavy. Perfect. Make sure it's center aligned and cool. Real Legend, and then below that I will put in, let's just say, fishing locations. And you want to kind of create like a distinction, so let's actually make this here a light and let's reduce it so that it fits underneath neatly. Perfect, like that. Then we can go ahead, select both and click group. Okay, so now that we've got that there, next to move is onto our images. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna create our venue locations. So I went online and I found a few images of some rivers or dams, so I'll just go ahead and paste this over here. I'm going to use just these 4 images of the different venues just for dummy data for now. Next, I'm going to click the circle or the rectangular, and I'm going to start drawing my rectangular. So I would like them to be about that size. Then I can click on them and click the center line to make sure they're in the center. I'll add a little bit of a curve border radius. Perfect. So now that I've got that, what I can then next do is go ahead and place these images inside the square. So I could go ahead, actually, what I'm going to do next, so a nice feature that Adobe XD has is they called a repeat grid. So you can click on that, and that will then create these 2 lines where you can just go ahead and drag down to repeat the design. So I'll click on the image, make sure the screen is a bit longer. So let's just say they are for now. Click on the image, and after I click repeat group, I can then go ahead and drag down 4 boxes. Okay, perfect. And then once I've completed, I can click ungroup, and I've got my 4 boxes. I can click there and just remove this back to the side. And yes, so here are my boxes. Okay, next I want to place the images inside these boxes. So I'll go ahead and click the image. I'll drag the image onto this image over here. And then what you want to do next is select the image, select the shape, go up to object, and you click mask with shape. That'll then put the image in there, inside the image, and I can go ahead and place them inside the shape where they look kind of nice and neat. And when I look away, it'll then be masked within that shape. So I want to just repeat the process for the other images. So I'll go ahead, drag that image, come down over here, click that, click the shape, object, mask with shape. Perfect. Go ahead, inside there, and there we go actually. Now for the next one, click that shape, hold down shift, select your shape, object, mask with shape. Oh no, click the wrong button. Object, mask with shape, inside there, and let's just place it over there. Perfect. And for the last image, shape, object, and mask with shape. Perfect. And we can just go ahead and place that there. Awesome. So as you guys can see, it's already starting to come together. We have our settings button, our search button, our heading, and we have a list of places we can go fishing. Next, what we wanted to do was have the title. So I'm going to place the titles on the top actually, so I can go ahead and put some text, and let's just name it fishing location 1. So as you can see, that's barely readable, so I'll select all. I'll make it a bit of a heavier color, so let's just say black, and that will then make it as bold as possible. I can then select it, put it over there. It's still a bit small, so let's increase the size a bit to maybe 18 and place them there. So I want to have the fishing look name as well as the distance, so I can control copy it. I can bring it down over there, and I can put, let's just say 15 kilometers to show you a distance. Okay, cool. But now if you look at this, this is pretty hard to read, especially if the image will be against a cloud. Let's just say over that, you won't be able to see that at all. So what you actually want to do is put a slight background, which will make it a little bit more readable, a dark background also. So I can go ahead and click the rectangular tool, and I'm going to draw it from this corner down to that corner over there, just below the text. And then if you look at this button over here, so this is basically a border radius. So if you move this here, you can see that those values change, but we only want to get the top 2. So we'll set this back down to 0, and we only want to get the top left and the top right. So we can go ahead and let's just change that to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the top one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So now that we've got that, the next thing that we need to do is change the color. So we'll change it to a black. Perfect. So now that we've got that, what we want to actually do is, because the text is behind, we want to go ahead, select the text and right click and say bring to front. Perfect. So now that image is behind. And then what we can finally do is change the opacity. So we can go to the opacity and reduce that slightly, just so that it sticks out. Okay, that's pretty much nice. So 58. And we also want to take out the border, because you don't want to have a border around that there. And if you look at that, that's starting to look nice. And now that it's actually, with that, it just looks a bit too bold. So maybe we actually change that to heavy. Yeah, that looks much nicer. Awesome, so we've got that there. So now we can actually go ahead, and yes, that's actually looking pretty nice. So we can go ahead, select the image, and we can Control C, Control V, and we'll add that to the bottom one. Control C, Control V, add that to that image over there. Control C, Control V, and we'll add it to that image over there. Nice. So that's starting to all look together. That's all starting to come together nicely. Okay, perfect. So now that we've got our homepage looking pretty nice, what we actually can do next is we can go ahead and make these scrollable icons similar to Instagram, so that the user know that they can scroll the images. So we'll go ahead and select a circle, and if we go down, we can go ahead and always hold Control or Shift, sorry, so that your circle always remains like a proper circle shape. Else if you don't hold Shift, you can basically make it any shape. So holding Shift, make sure it remains a perfect circle. Okay, so we can go ahead there, and let's just say we take out the border, so make sure it's a full white image. So the first image, or the select image, will be a full color, and then the ones after that will basically be rings. So then what we can do is Control C, Control V, and bring that image over there. And now with these images, they're not going to be full circle, they're more going to have a border. So we can go ahead and select a border only. We can make it white, and we can increase the size of that. And then we can go ahead and copy these for all 5 images that we'll have. Perfect. Now if you can see over here, it's a bit hard to see these shapes. So what we'll do is we'll add a drop shadow. So we can select all of these. We can go ahead down and we can click drop shadow. We can make these into a pitch black and increase the opacity just so that it brings that up a bit, and kind of center align it. Perfect. So now that little bit of a black background creates a bit of contrast, and we can see the images or the shapes nice and clearly. So we can go ahead, select all of the images or the shapes, group them, and then center align them so they are completely center. Then we can Control C, Control V, and we can bring them, make sure they are the same. Control C, Control V, make sure they are the same here, and then Control C, and there we go. Perfect. Awesome. That's great. So there we go. We actually got our homepage done. And we will also obviously need to critique this more and spend more time, but then we can go ahead and change our fishing location name. So let's just say fishing location 2, make this 20 kilometers, and we can change other information. So yes, that's pretty much on actually how we get our design. So I just want to show you basically how we create our login screen and how we created our homepage. And yep, this is actually looking pretty nice and slick. So what we can do after that is also click on your page and click Control Enter, and you can get a view of how it will look on a mobile device. Perfect. So now that we've got our login page and our home page designed, we can go ahead and complete the steps for all of our other pages. And then once we are completed with our design, we can then go ahead and click on Prototype tab. So now we're going to look into our prototyping tab, and this is more to create our navigation. So this is basically just allows you to, when you click on a button, to navigate to a certain page. So if we want to go to this page, we can click on login and we can tell them whenever the user clicks on login, navigate them to this page. And we can do register and forgot password, but obviously your register will take you to your register page and your forgot password will take you to your password page. So now if we had to click on this page, click Command Enter or Control Enter. When we click on that button, it'll then take us to that page. Okay, cool. So now that we've got our navigation sorted, we can click this and this will let us know that, okay, perfect, this is where your design is going to start off with when you share it, and this is going to be the opening page. Once that is selected, we can go ahead and click share, and now this is our design. And the perfect thing that's really nice about Adobe XD is you can go ahead and just simply click create link, and then that will then just do a bit of processing. And once completed, you'll get your link. You can go ahead and copy that link. You can go to your browser and open that link up. And just like that, we have our design that we can then share to people. So then once they open up, they can get this page and it'll be completely interactive. So they go ahead, they click login, it'll then take them to the next page. And the user can then go ahead and scroll around and play with the design and see what's like, do they like the app? Are there any updates? Do they not like things about it? So just to get a bit of feedback on the design. That's actually, we've got our login page. I showed you the basics of how to design. And basically you just need to remember that all you need to use is a square, a circle, a triangle, a line, and text. And then logos and icons, SVGs preferably, so you can change the color and you can design pretty much almost anything. Okay, so I went and I've designed all the other screens previously, and this is how my design came out. So I just have my login screen, I have my forgot password, my create account, my location settings, my home page, my venue page, location search page, and my profile page. So I can go ahead and click prototype, and as you can see, if you click Command All, that I clicked, if you click on this button, take you to that page, you click create account, take you to that page. I've done all my navigation links and I've sorted that there out. And yeah, so just to give you a look and feel of my design that I've done, if I click Command Enter, so this will be your page. You'll have to put in your cell phone number, password, you can log in, create account, and you have your forgot password. So I made some small changes. I prefer the forgot password in text at the bottom. If you have to click forgot password, it then take you to your page as we design on our mockups. Put in your cell phone number, request the OTP, put in the OTP, put in your new password, confirm password, and you can click update password. The user can then go ahead and click create account. You'll have their first name, last name, gender, cell phone number, password, confirm password. They can go ahead and click create account. It'll then take them to their location settings where they can either select GPS or address. If they have to select address, they can go ahead and type in an address. And once they've selected an address, it'll then go ahead and let you know which was your selected address. And then once you have an address or a location, you can then go ahead and click continue. That'll then take you to your home page, the one we designed together. And then over here, you'll have your different views of your different venue locations. You can then click on a venue location. It'll then take you to the venue. It'll let you know what the venue name is. You can scroll with the images. It'll give you a description of the location or the venue. It'll give you the contact number, the email address, and then you'll have a button where you can navigate to the location using Google Maps or iOS. You can click back. If you had to want to search for a specific location, you can click search. You can then go ahead and enter a location, click search, find venues, and then these will populate based on what you searched. If these are the ones that you're looking for, you can go ahead and open that one. That will then open up the venue that you have searched for. And then you also have your user settings where you have your first name, last name. You can go ahead and make changes to this field and click save changes. You can navigate back to your location settings in case you want to make changes to your location settings. Or you can log out, which will basically take you back to your home screen. That's basically the whole design phase. And yes, from there, you're also going to be perfect because on the Adobe, you can go to share, you can click update link. And then once you have your link, you can go ahead and copy your link. You can go to a browser, open it up on a new tab. and your page will be here, and then people can go ahead and you can send this link to anyone. They'll open up even on their mobile devices. They'll be able to view this link. They can go around and play with the app, test it out, and then they can also go ahead and add some comments, some feedback, like, hey, on this page I prefer this here, maybe not have this over here, maybe the images are not too clear, maybe I don't know that you can scroll with the images. They can add all their feedback in, and you can get all the feedback from your clients. And this will allow you to make sure that you are actually building what the clients want. You can make sure that this is what they like. And this will help immensely on the development side, because from here, you're going to give this straight to development or take it into development and then build exactly what you see on your designs. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. In this here, we went through our mockups. So we've got our mockups. We took our mockups. We designed them on pen and paper. We then we got inspiration from Pinterest. We got our colors that we wanted to use. We then took that into Adobe XD and we designed our layout and our look and feel of our app in Adobe XD based on our colors and designs which we have chosen from Pinterest and the mockups which we have drawn. And now we have left with an app that is designed. We have a clickable, shareable link that we can send to anybody, and this is pretty much great. Now we can move on to the next step. Okay, cool. So as you guys saw, we looked at our mockups and our design on paper and pen, jumped onto Pinterest then to get some inspiration on designs. We then looked at our color schemes and how to choose your right colors. And once you got your hexadecimal or colors, we then showed you how to jump into Adobe XD, save those colors, and start designing your app. And then as you saw, Adobe XD is that simple. You just literally use a square, a circle, a line, and a rectangle and text, and you can design basically anything with those components. And then once you finish your design, I showed you how you can jump into your prototyping tool, add all your navigation so that you can navigate using selected buttons. And then from there, you can click the share tab and you can create a link and then share that to your customers, and they can then provide you with feedback. And that's pretty much ending the video. And in our next video, like you saw, we'll be taking that link and sharing it to people. We'll also be creating surveys where we are going to send that link to customers or our target audience. We're going to be creating a survey with certain types of questions that will give us some insights, such as how often do you struggle with finding places to fish? How often do you go fishing? How far would you travel going fishing? So we'll just create a whole lot of questions on a survey. And I'm going to show you all of this here in the next video. So we'll create the survey, and once we've created the survey, we'll then hand it out with the link of our designs so that people can answer the survey, so that people can go through the app, test it out, look and play and feel, get the user experience of it. Then they will answer our surveys, answer all the questions on our surveys, and then we'll take that data and actually analyze it and make something out of it. And then that will then verify or validate, should we change anything, should we go ahead, should we jump into development. So yes, today ends off the design side. Next we'll be jumping onto the market research and making sure that we get feedback and change and adapt to our customers' needs to make sure that we're not just building in the blind. We have a target of what we're developing and we will nail it to ensure or to increase our chances of success. So yes, that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, check out our social media channels, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.